product are exactly the same as the old product.
Even the COIs are the same?
Okay, let's talk about COIs.
I know the guarantees are different.
Guarantees will be lower.
Of course.
Currents will probably stay the same. Could there be some scenarios where we have to lower current? Answer is yes, if it exceeds the new guarantee. The odds are most of our currents are less than the guarantees. So you're not going to see a COI change. That really, in the UL world, you just don't see it. It does affect the guarantees.
Well,
Whole life changes a lot of things.
well, let me ask the question this way. If we ran the current product that we have right now at 6%, there's no bonuses, it's got those charges, and we ran the new product without the bonuses at 6%, are the cash values going to be exactly the same or similar?
It's for how long in the future we want to look at. If we're looking at 10 years from now, we want to talk about 30 years from now, there could be some differences. I could have some higher cash in the new product.
I thought Tim mentioned that they might be looking at the older age mortality and thinking that they're a little bit too high. So
I mean,
I'm assuming they might have cut that
they
down.
look at by ages, by underwriting classes, and they massage everything every time they do something. They're gonna be
So
massaged.
there could be some enhancements.
Yes.
To where you have actually lower expenses than you
Yes.
currently have.
Now,
That's good.
I would say, this is gonna occur at 250 and above.
Of course.
Smaller bands, we could see some higher prices. In the SGUL, we raise premiums in the small bands. We lower premiums in the 250 and above. So the bigger the amount of life insurance, and we go up to $1 million on our band. So $1 million is our biggest band. So if your death benefit's $1 million, you're getting the biggest bang on cost in that band.
So that's what you want to sell.
So, yeah. Alright, so the flow, everything's the same on the new product. Sweep account, everything works the same. We're using the first day of the month. Nothing has changed so far. Sweep account, all the insurance processing, everything will occur there. And you set up how you want to allocate your different index strategies. And so here's what we're going to have in the new product. Our fixed rate, value cap strategy, this is our 0% floor strategy that we have today. Low multiplier, this is new. High multiplier, this is new. And then our uncapped with the interest rate spread is the same. So we're keeping two strategies, the zero floor and the interest rate spread strategy. We're keeping both of those, and we're adding two new ones. So this is kind of show you which strategies can actually earn the most interest.
How many strategies can you choose?
I can put money in all four, or actually even the fixed rate. I don't know why anyone would put any money in the fixed rate, because you will always have some money in the sweep account for the life of the contract.
So you got rid of the 1.5 floor?
Yes, 1.5 floor is gone, and the specified rate strategy is gone. Reason those two strategies are gone, we didn't get any money in. We didn't get a dime in them, basically. So our most popular strategy is the value cap, the 0.4, and the uncapped is catching up. So let's talk about these strategies, because the strategies, this is what makes up your IUL. So here's our fixed rate. We do have a change. The minimum guaranteed interest rate's now 2%. The old one was 2.5.
And the current is 4?
The current is 4, yes. Nothing's other than the minimum guarantee. So that guarantee column of the illustration will have now a lower interest rate. 2% for money in the sweep account. 0 in the index account or guarantee account. Sorry?
Lower COI.
Lower COI, so probably look the same. Here's how the fixed works, 4%. If if I have $100,000 in the account, the end of the first year, I'm gonna have $4,000 in interest, $104,000. So at the end of 1 year, that's it's a pretty simple calculation on the fixed account. So my return's 4%. And we're not gonna worry about that. Now, here is our zero floor, and it's 100% participation. And the caps can change, and let's assume a 9.5% cap. If the S&P increases 8%, I'm gonna earn 8%. If it earns 20, I'm gonna earn 9.5. If it earns 0, I earn 0 interest. If it has a loss, I earn 0.
That's the
So
same.
nothing has changed in those functions of the calculations of the index strategies.
But the same the right now is 10.5.
10.5 today, correct.
So is that 9.5 foreshadowing the drop in the cap?
November 1st, our cap will be at 9.5%.
So
This is
drop.
where you're gonna think about the old product will also be at 9.5%. So the odds are, if you're putting money in this index strategy, you're gonna say, well, geez, I might as well buy the new product, because they're both at 9.5%.
It's a pretty big drop.
Pretty big drop. Yes, it is. So here's some calculations with the 9.5% cap. S&P has a loss of 10%. My crediting rate is 0. So my value, if it's 100,000, at the end of the 1 year period, it's still 100,000. I have no gain, even though the S&P lost. Here's an example of a 30% gain. I have a 9.5% cap. My crediting rate would be 9.5%. So my 100,000 now has grown to 109,500. Nothing's changed, calculations are still all the same. So I had a 9.5% return that year. So now let's talk about our uncapped with the interest rate spread. This is becoming more popular. Interest rate spread is 4.75. And so if the index has a 30% increase minus the 4.75, I would earn 25.25% interest. Pretty strong return. S&P grows at 0, no growth. I would be credited 0 interest. If there's a decrease, there is no interest credited. So under this strategy, your return is whatever the S&P has minus your spread. Becoming very popular. You are looking at our past 20-year returns. This index strategy had the highest average return of all of our strategies. So just if you were selling just off of the historical performance, I don't know why 100% of the money is not going into this strategy. It's a very good strategy. And so here's some examples. 30%. And our crediting rate would be 25.25% to 30 minus the interest rate spread. And so our 100,000 would have grown to 125,250. Excellent. Here's the negative. Under this strategy, because it's negative, I have 0 crediting rate, and 0 is no return. Now, let's get into the new strategies. Multipliers. We're going to start with our low multiplier. So we have 2 different multipliers. Our multiplier factor is 1.24. Basically, that means we're going to multiply the S&P, whatever it does, by an additional 24%. Well, we have a segment charge, a segment asset charge of 1.9. Segment asset charge can change. We could charge up to 4%. We're going to subtract this fee from the money in this index segment every year.
Wait a minute.
So we're going to charge a fee of 1.9 right now every year.
So the contract would be less than 0.
Well, we're
Yes.
going to see that. So let's take a look at, here is a gain. No, this is a loss of 10%. Our multiplier's 24. Notice our cap though is 12%. We've got a 12% cap on the multiplier. So think about that. I'm getting 2.5% bigger cap in this, but I got a 1.9% fee. So am I willing to take that extra cap space for a 1.9% fee? Now we got a 10% loss from the S&P. So in our calculation, our credit rate is 0. 0 times our multiplier is still 0. And so if I have 100,000, our ending value is going to be 100,000 times 1 minus 0.019. That's our fee. Plus our credit rate is 0 will equal $98,100. I am losing $1,900 because the S&P had a loss. I've got to be willing to take a loss. If I'm not willing to take a loss, our value strategy and the uncapped interest rate spread are options that I have. I don't have to take this option.
So, Wayne, you've got 100,000 at the beginning. Does that asset charge come out at the beginning of the year? Or is it like the asset charge?
Doesn't really matter.
that you report? Well, it does matter.
Okay,
Because you're gonna have.
I'll have to find out for sure. If it comes out the beginning of the year, it reduces your value. If it comes out the end of the year, it reduces it at the end. Could it be part of the monthly deduction?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
If it is, then it's the sweep account that's being reduced, not by indexing. I will have to check that to be sure exactly where it comes from. I believe it's calculated at the end of the year. And because that money would have to come out of that index strategy, because it's got 100,000 sitting in it.
Yeah.
So I would have to take then the 1,900 out of it at the end of the year to have 98.1 to be my starting value.
So if you have 100,000, you've got monthly deductions coming out.
No,
You're only gonna have.
monthly deductions this is 100,000 in the index segment.
Oh, they're already in the index seven. Yeah,
My
you're right.
monthly deductions are being
The
deducted
sweep.
from the sweep
The sweep
account.
already has it.
From a different
upfront.
account. Think of the
That-
sweep
yeah, that's
account
sweep.
as a regular UL sitting here. So
Then-
your
then
question.
Then you're right, then it doesn't matter. It's the same answer.
It's static.
Well, but if I surrendered it, and if we took it at the beginning of the year, I'd get back my surrender value. Now, so if you surrendered it, that's another good question. Would we reduce the fee or the asset charge even though it hasn't completed the year? That's another question. I don't know the answer.
But this one's less complicated because of the sweep account
Yes.
than some of the competitors.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wayne,
Let's look at a positive first. So I lose 1.9%. So understand in this one, I lose the fee. Now in this example, the S&P is going up 10%. And so since 10% is less than the 12% cap, we'll use 10% times our 24% multiplier, which gives us 12.4% of a crediting rate here. So it's gone from the 10 to 12.4 because of the multiplier. So our beginning value is 100,000. I've got to take my fee out of the 0.019, then I'll multiply it times the 12.4%. My ending value now is 110,264.
So your return is 10.2.
And so my net return is 10.26% from that 10% growth. So the multiplier again, am I willing to take that extra interest that I got a fee? In the 10% environment, pretty good. You can calculate where I break even. It's probably 9.5%. Isn't that kind of interesting that our value strategy cap's 9.5? Break even point here is probably close to 9.5.
So repeat that
wait,
again.
so, okay, I have a cap of 12. So if
Yes.
if I make 12, it's 12 times 1.24.
Yeah, let's look at my next scenario.
That's
I
what
got a 30% return.
Perfect, okay, let's go.
Now, because I got a 30% return, I have a 12% cap. I can only use 12% in my interest rate calculation. So my crediting rate will be 12% times my 24% multiplier gives me an interest rate of 14.9.
Minus the.
Minus the.
And I'm gonna take out my fee,
And you got 14.
and my end result is I've got a 12.71% return from that 30% return. Now, think of this though, if I had my money in the interest rate spread, I would got 25.25%. So, here's a neat deal. How many years do we have S&P returns like this?
No.
You know, when we do, that interest rate spread's the place to be. Still the best. That's why it was at the top. So these multipliers are neat deals. And one of the things the multiplier will let us do is illustrate it at a higher rate. I can't, my interest rate spread will still illustrate at a lower rate. So even though it may be the best return, I can't illustrate it. This is an illustration games are going on today. I will tell you, and I know a lot of you have done reviews, are these policies performing better than how you illustrated them? When you sit down and do reviews,
Yes.
do their annual statements show them having bigger values than what you illustrated at?
The last 10 years, yes.
They do?
You know, we're offering between 9 and 10% on it.
Yeah, but we can't illustrate
I
that.
understand.
Wait, so in that, in your example, in the first account, it would be if the market did 20. First account, you would earn 950. Second account, 20 minus 475.
Yeah.
And in this one, you would earn 1271.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that multiplier gonna be compounded in the future? Yeah, or is it just every year?
It's every year.
24.
Every year. What could change is this fee. At the beginning, I showed you the maximum charge here is 4%. That fee could go up. Okay? Alright. Now, I will tell you this multiplier, if it were my opinion, I wouldn't even be talking about it. This is our low multiplier.
And why don't you spend-
Let's look at the Big Daddy.
56.
The one I believe, let's see if I can get there.
Talk about the yak.
There we go, this is the one I like. If I'm gonna do a
Look at that.
multiplier, I want a
365.
60% multiplier. I don't wanna mess around with 24%.
But look at the
But to
assets.
get this 60% multiplier, my fee
Yeah.
is now 3.65. I got a bigger fee to get a bigger multiplier. And this one's got a max of 6%, so that fee could change.
So the 2, 4, and the
Oh.
60 is guaranteed,
Yes,
but the
the fee is
fee
not.
is not.
Okay?
Wait, the companies are, okay, the companies are giving all the risk, not the risk, it's like you're giving me a lot, 60%, but look at that asset charge. And it's not you, I've seen higher. It's just that at the end of the day, if the account goes to zero, I'm gonna make 190 or 365 less. And I have to understand that in order for me to
Yeah.
get from 0 to
So, kinda
950.
think of
Look
this.
at Lincoln, it's 6%.
6.
It's almost like a VUL. And
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
charges because of the separate account.
You're right.
I gotta pay M&E charges. Well, this is kind of a M&E charge.
And if the market does good, I'm fine.
No, you're right, exactly. So let's take a look at some examples with this. Here's a loss, 10%. And, so I got a credit 0. It's got 0 floor, 12% cap. The cap's the same on whether it's the high multiplier or the low multiplier, 12% cap. So in this one, I'm using 0. So 0 times 60% is still 0. No multiplier effect. But I got a fee now of 0.0365. So my ending value after we charge the fee, my 100,000 decreased to 96,350. I have a loss of 3.65%. I lose money. You know, one of the things we talked about in IULs That even if the market goes down, you don't lose money because of the market. You can't say that anymore if you select a multiplier. If the market goes down, I'm losing 3.65. I gotta be willing to say that and show that.
To be brave.
I'm sorry?
You have to be brave.
So let's look at some gain. Here's a 10% S&P growth. And the 10% is less than our cap, so we're gonna use the 10% in our calculation. And we got a 60% multiplier. My 10% is now worth 16%. Now I'm 100,000, I gotta take off my fee and add, calculate that my 16% is my ending value is 111,766, which gives me 11.76% return. So the S&P grew 10, American National's gonna credit 11.76 on the 10% return. So again, you gotta think of that. Where's my break-even point? It's probably back to that 9.5. Now, let's look at a 30% growth rate. Now, because the 30% hits our cap, I can only use 12% in our calculation. So 12% times the 60% multiplier gives me 19.2% I'm going to use in the calculation. But I still have to reduce it.
With these multipliers contracts, how sensitive is that cap to be putting up and down?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
It'll be a little
I would
less.
say it's probably no different than where we're at, but here's the
You got a
thing.
charge on
No,
it.
you got the guaranteed budget, so it'll be less. The
Yeah.
cap shouldn't move as much on the multiplier.
I would think so.
Right, because of that fee, we can hold things. You know, I always get asked the question, why is our cap bigger in an IUL compared to an indexed annuity?
Because there's no
Well,
premium
it's real
load.
simple. I have to pay for life insurance, I got fees. There's no fees in annuity. So fees help us keep caps up. Fees are good in life insurance because you get paid commissions and those fees pay your commissions. And, you know, we could have a pretty cool product. We didn't pay any commissions. That would reduce those fees pretty
Kind of
good.
like sales.
Zero.
Not good.
So, now my return is 14.84. Again, that interest rate spread's a pretty cool deal. This is good. I mean, come on, you can talk about 14%'s a good deal. So between these two multipliers, again, why do I need that low multiplier? I bet we don't sell the low multiplier. Ralph, tell me where would I use the low multiplier compared to the high multiplier?
Only if you wanna lose the sale, then you might use that little multiplier.
You know, it was kind of interesting when we had the discussions with all the marketing groups and they're presenting, because other companies have two multipliers. I go, well, why? Tell me, why do I need I like 60, heck a lot better than 24.
The wholesalers don't even know how to explain it.
They know how to explain.
They don't even know how to explain it. The multipliers, the other companies, some of
Well,
Some are ridiculous.
If we want to, we can get into detail as to what other companies are doing and how we compare. Here, guys, I will tell you, with our multiplier, American National is still very conservative.
Yeah.
Our calculations for the multipliers, we wanted it to be simple. We didn't want it to be complex. You're right. There are some very complex calculations out there in our industry, and I don't know how they're gonna explain that.
The client still, this needs to be explained. I think a lot of agents just don't understand enough. And when the client gets that first statement, there's a loss, what's this charge here? I thought we weren't supposed to lose money in this.
What is the max crediting rate gonna drop to when the cap drops?
You mean the
Illustrated rate.
Let me get to that.
Okay.
Let's see if I've got it in here. Oops. All right, illustration rate.
5 even? Oh. no.
So at 9.5, we're gonna illustrate 5.89. Low multiplier, 6.78.
Ooh.
High multiplier, 7.31. No cap, 5.89. So those are your illustration rates. So, come on, it's very simple. If everything's the same, a 7.31 illustration is gonna be a 5.89 illustration.
Yeah, but realistically, based on actual performance.
It's because we have to live by regulations.
No, here's how you can, do both, satisfy what you wanna do and what we wanna accomplish. If you run the back testing on these strategies, you should get a comfort level. What does a 0 and 9.5 get you? Where do you feel comfortable at? And then pick one of these to get that rate, because you should probably run a 9.5 cap at a 6.5 or 6.78. You're gonna have to choose it to see it.
Yeah. You know what, I think,
You end up being able to say.
this is just, I think we're gonna see it.
6%.
An agent's gonna run an illustration putting 100% in the high
Well, of
multiplier
course they are.
to illustrate 7.31. But when we get the actual application on the
They're gonna do
allocation
it.
form, he's gonna do 50% to the uncapped interest rate spread and 50% to the high multiplier.
That's what it is.
That's exactly
Uncapped,
what we're-
50 and
Well, you
50.
know, that's what you're gonna ask for. Cause you wanna illustrate 7.31. Or you're gonna illustrate 7% or,
We
Yeah.
illustrated 6, and that's good enough.
Yeah.
so is 5.89 good enough?
Mr.
Close.
Cucco.
Close.
Okay, so here's the good news with everyone in this room. That illustration game, do you run into it? Would you have to illustrate a 7.31 to get a sale?
No.
That's the world we're in today. To me, it's a sad connotation that for me to get the sale, I gotta have the best illustration.
Oh, yeah.
So are your clients, people you're meeting with, they're buying from you more than, they only know who American National is. But we gotta be able to compete. We gotta be able to have good strategies. And I'll say one thing that I'm very proud of American National, that we have stuck with the S&P 500.
Yes.
And we have not gone out to other indexes.
Yeah, no reason.
And as a company,
No reason.
I don't think that will ever happen. As long as Jim Posey is still president, he loves being American indexes,
Mr.
Yeah,
not foreign indexes.
I think after watching what the market is doing, that it's inevitable that these products are gonna be registered at some point in the future, because they're getting more complex in terms of the asset charge, and now they can be less than 0. And eventually, look at that. I mean, it's gonna be a registered product. And that's a simple illustration. The one American National is simple. Like you say, there's others that I'm like,
Oh,
This is
and we go out right now, and I could show you in the market, there are companies that are illustrating loans twice the size of our loans. So they're showing basically having twice the amount of value in that illustration than we are. Because your loan amount's calculated by the amount of that illustration value.
This chart shows 175.
Yeah, I got
Those
it
are the
correct.
old numbers. Those
Yeah,
are
that's
the
where
old-
we started, and so we're now at 1.9 and 3.65. So, yeah, Dustin got a little,
Buoyancy.
I haven't gone through and updated every page. That's what I was doing. I was sitting there, was updating all these fees and all these calculations. So you could probably go back and check my numbers, they may be wrong. But Ralph would already caught them if they were. But that's, yeah,
That 475 spread is still the best crediting strategy.
in the bull market, it's where
I always put 50 and 50.
no, it's, you know,
Yeah, they don't cap.
we are starting to
Yep.
see a lot of dollars going
I
to
mean,
it.
that's better than the multipliers.
Because when the market is up, the market is up. And, you know,
So,
they say.
where does the multiplier maybe fit in? Maybe at that 10% return. Because then I'm only getting 5 1/4 on the interest rate spread. So I believe there's a place for each of these. They're designed for a particular type of
Onca
S&P.
y el highway.
You guys have any
But
questions?
no doubt, uncapped is designed for high S&P returns.
Yes.
Do I always want to try to get a piece of those high S&P returns?
Would you bet on the S&P only?
Yes.
I
That's
would
it.
bet, I would bet.
No, S&P. Guess what? You open your phone and you go to the stock app, what do you see? Two indexes.
Dow Jones.
I see the Dow and the S&P 500, it's the only two. People know what these are, because it's right there on their phone.
You would think.
So guys, right now, the S&P's at
He was-
2940. Whoever thought the S&P would hit 3,000? I never did. That's amazing.
The market went down today 300 points, right?
Uh-huh.
The market went down, the Dow?
Yeah, the Dow's down 1.28%, the S&P's down 1.23. S&P's at 2940 right now.
There was some bad manufacturing
Yeah.
there that came over because of the trade war.
So, what do y'all wanna ask me? Anything else? The
Yes.
new product with these two new multipliers, that's really the
So-
big difference. And
So that
the
fee-
new mortality table.
Monthly loans, you forgot to mention that.
So here's what I can do for you. You wanted to look at a comparison. I actually have access to the test system.
Okay.
Let me go in and I'll run an illustration currently at 6% and the new one at 6%. And just send it to you, let you look at it. Is that fair?
Fair enough, that's good.
Okay.
So with the asset fees and those multipliers, that drove up that target quite a bit? Or-
Well, no, that's a good question. Actually, the new
Yes.
mortality table,
Drove up target.
well, because I gotta buy more life insurance now. That's what drives the target, is how much life insurance I gotta buy. So yes, the new guidelines under the new mortality table, I have to buy a little more life insurance. So there's a comparison.
Wait, I'm confused, wait. The rates are lower, so the
Right.
target is lower.
No,
Correct?
remember, we live in the guideline premium world. Guidelines are based on how much life insurance you buy.
Exactly.
So if I've got, let's say I wanna put in 25,000 a year,
I'm buying
I'm
more.
buying more life
I'm
insurance.
buying more. I thought that because it was cheaper.
So the target, on a 45-year-old buying a 25,000 premium at our best underwriting class, the target I think was 9,600 under the old, the new target's like 1040.
So it just makes you, forces you to buy more manly insurance policy.
Wait, I have the question is, so if I have a client and I say, listen, 0 to 950 classic, or are you sure, we might see a 1.90 at the end of the year or a 3.65. We gotta explain that, in order not to be.
Yes, no, it adds a new level of complexity. Here's the good news though, it works. I don't even have to talk about the multiplier.
Where's my?
If you don't explain the multiplier strategies, and you talk about the uncapped and value cap, what are they gonna buy? They're gonna buy what you recommend.
Guys, do you have any questions? I know you guys deal with this a lot. Gary, Omar, and Alberto.
Good.
Take advantage. She's
I don't like
advantage.
it.
We tried to make it as simple as possible.
I don't like it.
You like it?
I don't like it.
So you like the value cap and the uncapped. Guess what? You can sell all you want. Yes,
The
sir.
regular signature UL is eliminated.
I'm sorry?
The signature UL, the regular signature UL.
The one that is current.
That stays.
What do you have?
The current.
The current UL is gonna be gone.
Signature index UL.
It's
So,
gone. That's gone.
okay, let's talk about, all right,
The
so
current portfolio
one of the things
stays.
real fast, if I have some cases, should I wait till November 1st to write IUL? That's your call. The current IUL will continue to sell it up to October 31st. On November 1st, now let me ask, anybody here from California?
No,
Anybody from New York?
no.
Amy.
California, New York, I don't know what's gonna happen there.
God knows.
But as long as you're in the states and those two, you're good.
That was cool.
And Puerto Rico's good.
I don't know what's happening.
Anyway, so November 1st, the app has to be dated November 1st, you'll get the new product. Our illustration software on November 1st will have Signature Performance IUL. You do an e-app, will be ready November 1st. So if you got an IUL and it's the last week of October, do you need to wait? Well, to me, if you're like Alberto and you're selling the value cap and the uncapped, and that's what you're gonna use, why wait? Because they're gonna be the same on November 1st, whether it's the old product or the new.
What is your expectation for the field regarding this change? Have you talked to people?
No, you're the first group that I've done any IUL presentations to. You're the first ones. We wanted to get a good feel of what y'all thought about it.
Wayne?
Yes.
I have a question. Do you have already the sample reporting of the whole, with the multipliers included? Is that available for?
Here's what's gonna happen. When I run the comparisons, I'll also include you. I'm sending it to Ralph, I'll send
Okay,
you.
please.
Because it will have that 20-year look-back table in it. So with the new, I got to send to the GA, our GAs, that's their call. So, I'll do that too for you. Okay? Alright, so new mortality table. There's actually gonna be 2 products we will no longer sell. Actually, 3 products we'll no longer sell. Come December 31st, well, actually it'll be December 2nd, we're shutting down illustrations on Executive UL, Single Premium Whole Life, Signature Guarantee UL Simplified Issue product. Those 3 products are going away.
Which day?
Everywhere.
The date.
December the 2nd. No, excuse me. Yeah, December the 2nd. That's the day we come back from Thanksgiving. So basically, probably November 27th would be the last time you run case. Unless you guys write apps over the Thanksgiving weekend. If you do, you can still write them. They're going away.
Will you repeat them again, please?
Executive UL, Single Premium Whole Life, the Signature Guarantee UL Simplified Issue product is going away. We're getting out of the simplified issue business altogether. We're shutting it down.
Is there a lot of?
It's just been a lousy loser.
So you're not doing, worksite marketing?
Nope. You sell individual products.
Good.
Now, the worksite marketing, and it was our fault, we let agents take healthy people and buy individual products. In that worksite, everybody's gotta be buying worksite to make it work. Well, only the unhealthy people were buying worksite. If you were healthy, I'm buying a regular signature term to get good rates.
So you got anti-selection.
That's not work. We're out of it. Yeah, Executive UL, the company's actually gonna reprice to the new mortality table, but it's gonna have a minimum of 100,000 we're losing the table for as standard. That's where we was selling Executive UL, or less than 100,000 to get table 4. That's that same problem with simplified issue. Guess what was going into that less than 100,000 Executive UL? Every table 4 person, everybody that bought it was table 4. We needed some healthy people buying it, and it wasn't. So right now, I don't see a place for a fixed interest UL product. There's no place for it. Our Signature Guarantee UL goes down to 25,000. Our Signature Whole Life goes down to 10,000. I've got policies for smaller markets that are there today. Hey, the IUL goes down to 25,000. I mean, it's kind of amazing that anybody can buy IUL. It's not just big cases. So that's our marketplace. So we got term, we got whole life, we've got the signature guarantee UL and the new signature performance IUL. Basically, we got 4 products. That's what we're running with. And I tell you, that's what you guys sell. Now, if you can find and tell us an area we may need a fixed interest UL product, let us know.
I think you could create a competitive current assumption death benefit product.
So, to do that competitiveness and that fixed interest, guess what we gotta do? We gotta cut commissions. Well, guess what? That takes away selling. Who's gonna sell it? When I go sell a signature guarantee UL and have guarantees and make good commissions compared to taking some risk on guaranteed segments, it's tough. And it's a tough world right now. Our executive UL in the industry, they went and pulled 50 companies. Guess where we ranked at 50 fixed interest UL products?
Number 7.
No, number 50.
Close
So-
enough, close.
Well, here's what, we come out with a product and we're still number 50. It's kind of embarrassing to roll it out. Why roll it out? It's gonna be, I may get overruled, but right now, I'm not gonna roll it out. That's just my opinion, and the new executive UL.
Oh.
So that's what we have going on. The bad part, don't go and get licensed in New York. Stay away from New York right now. You believe this, on February the 1st, state of New York will start requiring suitability for life insurance on February 1st. Just like selling an annuity, I'm gonna have to, I sell somebody a $50,000 or $100,000 term policy, I gotta do a suitability while they buy this.
That's why everybody's pulling up. No one's pulling business.
There are companies pulling out of you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit about the new flexible index?
Okay, on January the 1st, and all the states you guys sell in, we're gonna be rolling out our indexed annuity, we're adding a flexible premium feature to it. So I can put in premiums into the future.
Okay.
Do you
Now,
have any,
That's like
any
Asia?
idea of what will be the minimum?
Minimum to buy the contract will still be $5,000.
No, but
Then the
monthly.
minimum monthly, if you do bank draft, will be $100.
Okay, and will be qualified and non-qualified?
Qualified, not qualified, but I have to have 5,000 to start it,
Sure.
and then I can do flexible premium.
That's fine.
Okay?
How much?
The minimum is 5,000, $100 a month,
The
The
bank
maximum.
draft.
Is a sample
maximum.
policy?
The maximum's $1 million.
Wayne?
Yeah, but, for example, if I give you $100,000,
Uh-huh.
and then I wanna put more money in the same
You
hundred,
can go all the way up to $1 million. So if I wanna put in 100,000 in year 2, 100,000 in year 3, 100,000 in year 4, I can do all that.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Contribution could be up to $1 million, but that is not by any means, that is capped at $1 million.
Deposit.
Right now, we are capped at $1 million.
Okay.
So that will be something that will be in the illustration that will tell you the most we could ever get from you is $1 million. So if I put in 100,000 for 10 years, then I can't put any more money in. I hit our cap. Now, 10 years from now, could that raise?
yeah.
It's possible. Guys, right now, we're at 1.8 billion in annuity premium this year. We don't have to go out and find annuity money. It's still pouring in. So companies raise their limits because they want to get more money in. We don't necessarily want to get more money in. You know, there's only so much we want to get each year.
We wanted more money.
I understand you want more money. But as a company, annuities are actually a high-risk product.
By any chance, will you have any commission numbers to share or
First year commissions are the same.
the same?
Second year commission is gonna be less than first year. So third year commission is gonna be
trails?
less.
No trails?
You can pick a trail.
Okay.
But again, each year that commission's gonna drop because there's no new surrender charge on it.
Yeah.
Now, you wanna get paid full commissions,
Yeah.
you're gonna write it 100,000 this year, they give you 100,000, you're gonna write a new one so you can get that new commission. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
So, you know, the flexible premium is for that person that's buying a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, not the markets you guys work. You want to get your full commission. The indexed annuity pays pretty dang good
Yeah, but it
commission.
depends. You're opening a new annuity every year for 10 years of surrender charge anyway.
That because of the surrender charges, we pay you more commission. You want to just put it in this one?
10-year commission? I mean,
Yes.
surrender?
Yes, we have, our index product is on a 10-year surrender charge chassis. Remember, we got rid of the 7. We only sell the 10-year surrender charge.
What's the average rate of return of that product?
On the annuity, about 4 1/4 maybe. So think of our fixed rates about 2 1/4.
So you're getting about an average 4 1/4. With the
100 pesos, man. 100 pesos mínimo.
Oh, yeah, the income rider is what we're selling. And that's kind of interesting, our brokerage side, most of the index annuities they're selling don't have the income rider on it. Because they want to rewrite it. If you put the income rider on, you're leaving that money with this one company for the rest of your life.
I did a great one.
Brokers don't want to do that.
That's.
Brokers want, when you get out of the surrender charge, we're moving you to a new company, so I get paid again.
Yeah, but that's not what's best for them.
I got you.
We don't do
There,
that.
that income rider, guys, we do a great job because we're taking care of our clients. Not every agent does that.
Do you have an option to have a rider, asset-based compensation on that? Commission, you need to be asset-based compensation.
Or you add the rider, it pays the same comp or not.
That's
It's all
all,
the
you
same.
take it up front, or can you, is there an asset?
Sure, you take a trail. I believe the trail option,
That's what you
to
should.
me, is very attractive because the whole thing is, I'm leaving the money with American National till I die. As long as there's annuity value, and as long as I'm still contract, guess what?
I'm getting paid.
I get a trail. It's a heck of a deal. It takes about 4.5 years with the trail
To break even.
to get it all up front. And guess what? You're just getting started. And guess what? Is that value growing? Oh yeah, it's a percentage of the annuity value.
I agree.
So, hey, but even when they start their income and the values go down, I'm still getting the trail. As long as there's $1 in that annuity value, I get paid.
So we,
But I have to be contract. If I give up my contract, then it stops.
I know at one point American National had a premium deposit account. We ever thought about bringing it back, so that if we have a case where we've got more than, we don't wanna make the contract, so we can just park it in the premium deposit account.
I have not heard. I know that Jack Simon is listening and hears, do we wanna get back into it? Probably have Bruce Pavelka on the administrative side going, no, we don't, cause it's a pain to administer. You know, I think there's getting more and more requests for it.
Well, there's some use of it.
No, I see it. I mean.
I think that is an important.
All we can
part.
do today is put it into an immediate annuity and pay it back to you and then pay the.
Yeah, but they, you don't wanna do
I
that.
understand. Ralph?
Well, that's.
Once
And,
it's
and
committed,
here's the good news, we've shown history that we can bring money to you. I think part of the problem was, they would put money in this account and then they would turn around, the agent request, get it set up, they would turn around and come take all the money out. And so, as a company, that was a cost to us, of terminating those accounts. If there's a way that we say, okay, if you do this, we're not gonna give your money back, well, guess what? Nobody would give it to us. I mean, you gotta have some rules with it, but,
Well, there's certain sales out there.
right, I agree. There's a place for it, and,
1 year lockup.
I mean, we're talking millions of dollars.
You can do a 1 year lockup.
Abajo de lo de régimen depósito.
I agree.
Porque puede meter esos chavos.
But I mean, I understand, how can American National make some money off
Y
it?
después de tener.
Well, you know, I don't have to charge you. We don't have to Credit.
That-
You want to get it all.
Right now, Jack would say, hey, Ralph, I'll tell you what, how about you pay us 25 basis points and we do it? Anything else? What time is it? Do I still have more time?
You have about 25 minutes.
Alright. Do y'all wanna
Do
look?
you have some of the compensation?
I do. Y'all wanna look at some of that? Alright, let's see if I can find it here.
Simplemente como tienes en ley, te vas a salir que ¿entiendes? Te lo van a decir lo mismo en ley, ¿verdad? Chequear,
I see that click up.
pero si algo más, 500 pesos.